Hi, I thought I'd make this video for anybody that was considering these two different generators. The Westinghouse IGen4500 and the Briggs and Stratton P4500. They're both inverter generators. They cost about the same amount if you buy them online, Amazon, Home Depot, wherever. Pretty much the same size. They have about the same footprint. I believe even the width is roughly the same width, same length. I believe the Briggs is a tiny bit taller just because of the gas cap versus the Westinghouse. The gas cap is almost flush with the unit itself. The weight, I think the Briggs and Stratton's rated at 103 or 104 pounds dry with no gas. The Westinghouse is like 96 or 98. Only difference is when you go to pick it up with the Briggs, you actually have this right here. It's a little shallow handle on both sides. And since you're trying to pick it up using the tips of your finger, it makes it feel a lot heavier than the Westinghouse, which has a full handle to grip on each side. So that little 5 pound difference, 5 or 6 pound difference feels like a lot more when you're trying to pick the thing up with the tips of your fingers. I don't know why they put that on there like that. And then to move them around, mobility wise, the Briggs has this sort of suitcase handle, which I don't like. It's kind of, I'm sure it's strong enough, but I wouldn't try to pick up the unit from like this. I mean, it works pretty good when you're leaning over and towing it behind you, but it still just doesn't feel as strong as the Westinghouse has this type of handle. It just feels a lot more sturdier. The wheels on the Briggs are a tiny bit bigger, so when I was pulling it through the grass, it seemed to, go a little better than the wheels of the Westinghouse. But other than that, they're very, very similar. Very, very similar. The Westinghouse actually has, if I can find it, it's not in my pocket. Let's see. Nope, it's not. But the Westinghouse has a little remote that you can use to start it, whereas the Briggs does not have a remote. They're both electric start or pull start, but the Westinghouse actually has a remote also. But the Briggs has 4 plugs and then the 30 amp RV connection, whereas the Westinghouse has 2 and then the RV connection. They both have little meters to tell you how much gas and how much power it's producing, stuff like that. That's the one on the Westinghouse. This is the one on Briggs. I will say, and you'll see in a minute, it's harder to see the lights inside where it says power and the fuel gauge. In direct sunlight, it's harder to see it on the Briggs. So I'm gonna start them up one by one, and I have a decibel meter on my iPad. We'll see how loud each one is from a distance, and then I'll throw a load on them and check out the sound level on them. So to start the Briggs, the fuel is on. You press this button for a couple seconds, that'll light up, and you press and hold it and let it go. And the QPT is the kind of like the fuel efficiency mode, which will make it a little quieter. I'm gonna take the reading with it on right now, but you do this to turn it off. You heard it got a little bit louder. So that's it with it on. So on my iPad, it's not the official meter. I don't know, it's hard to see. Oh. From about 2 or 3 feet away, it is 63 decibels. 65, well, I'm talking, so it's fluctuating. I'm gonna move back about maybe 10, 15 feet. Which is 50. That's pretty quiet. Now I'm about 20. Yeah, and anything further than this, it's just nothing. Like I'm probably 30 feet away. I'm reading 41. That's pretty much just the ambient sound out here. So I'll do it again real quick with the QPT off, where it's a little bit louder. This is a couple feet. About 15, 20 feet. This is about 25, 30 feet away. Yeah, even with the QTP off, it's pretty quiet. Now I'm gonna just run through the same thing with a load. I have it's like a waffle iron type thing and a fan hooked up on the other end, drawing about 2,000 watts. So with the load on it, from right in front of it a couple feet, it's about 70. 10, 15 feet. About 25 feet. Yeah, so still very quiet. All right, so then I'm gonna start up the Westinghouse and do the same thing. Oh, to turn it off, same button. Then the Westinghouse, the fuel is on. This switch, you turn this switch to run. It's lit up right now, it's hard to see. And then you just press and release the button. So it's like the Briggs has a QPT, the Westinghouse has efficiency mode, which is on right now. If I turn it off, you got a little bit louder. So we'll see how loud it is with it on, and then turn it off, and then the load. So with it on, a couple feet from it, about 15 feet away. About 25 feet away. It's noticeably quieter. And again, I know I'm using the iPad. It's not a official decibel reader or anything like that, but I just figured it'd be a good way to compare them. So I'm gonna go back, turn the efficiency mode off. Heard it rev up a little bit. Right in front of about 10-15 feet. And both of these have the exhausts going behind it to try to keep it fair. About 25 feet. Yeah, like I could, for both of them, we could be whispering and still have a conversation. They're very quiet. Now I'm gonna go back and put the load on it and take the readings. All right, you heard it rev up. The waffle iron and fan are on it, about 2,000 watts. You can see, well, it's hard to see, but it's at about 25%. I should have showed you on the Briggs, but it was the same, 25%. Right in front of it with the load. Ten, 15 feet. About 25 feet. Yes, they are both very quiet, but the Westinghouse is actually a little more quiet. But both of them are so quiet, I could imagine you can have both of them running and still have a conversation without yelling. Let me turn this off. Same button to turn it off. And I just did something you should never do. Turn it off with a load on. I should have unplugged it first. Well, that's it. That's the Westinghouse IGen4500 and the Briggs & Stratton P4500.